Hey, I'm Sides. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the best city in the USA for musicians to live in. After I graduated from Berklee in 2012, I moved straight to New York City. I really wanted to live in the hustle and bustle where I thought all of the biggest artists were. I wanted to play the legendary venues. I really wanted to be, I guess, kind of like a starving artist. And I always thought if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I basically wanted to be the next Lady Gaga. What happened? I ended up paying over $1,000 for a tiny, tiny room in basically the apocalypse Brooklyn. I had to travel an hour to get into the city for my crappy part-time job. I was singing gigs in the beginning for $50, and I finally graduated to singing weddings that were actually pretty high paying on just Saturday nights. And sometimes I would sing gigs in the nursing homes, but it was a struggle. I was always knocking down doors. I thought I was doing well, but it was hard work all the time. And although I haven't lived in LA, I've heard similar stories. You work so hard just to pay rent, to get some good gigs, but it's really hard to kind of thrive there. Obviously, there's exceptions to this story, but in general, there's a lot of competition in these cities. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, and they're tough. They're tough cities. So in 2020, life had a weird curveball, and I somehow ended up in this city. And now, with my own experience, I realized, wow, this is probably the best city for musicians to live in the USA. So without further ado, the city is Las Vegas. Here are the reasons why Las Vegas is a great city for musicians to live in. 1, the rent is cheap. The cost of living is cheaper overall. You can get sometimes 1 or 2 rooms in a house somewhere between $500 to $800 and live really comfortably, right? You can have your home studio, your bedroom, your own bathroom, and then you share a kitchen with your roommate. Sometimes those houses even have pools. That is really cool. You can't get anything like that in New York. When I was living in New York, my first apartment, which is the crappiest apartment, my rent was $1,100, just to keep those in mind. And it was like far from everything. You can get that. Let's say you don't want roommates. You can get 1 bedroom for $1,200 or $1,400. And these complexes come with pools, they come with gyms, they come with parking. It's very chill. So the cost of living is without a doubt lower. 2, there are so many gigs. In New York and LA, from my experiences and what I've heard from my friends, is the best gigs, and pretty much the only gigs you get are on Friday and Saturday, with the occasional gig sporadically throughout the week, right? Those are usually pay a lot less. Whereas Vegas, there are gigs 7 nights a week. These gigs range from DJing gigs, solo piano gigs, solo guitar gigs, piano singer gigs, piano guitar player gigs, duo gigs, band gigs. Sky's the limit, right? There's so many gigs here. And these gigs typically pay $100 an hour. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually $100 an hour. So if you're a solo guitar player and you get 3 gigs a week, you're cruising, right? The other days of the week, you can focus on building up your music business. So the modern musician doesn't have to be just stuck locally, right? Like, it's not like the old days where you had to be in New York or LA because that was pretty much where you can work. Now we have the internet, right? And I work with clients all over the world, and so can you. If you're an independent artist, you can take this extra time that you would be normally working a part-time job or working at a coffee shop or working bartending to write songs or work on your craft or to collaborate or to make content to get fans. You can spend this extra time doing that, and you can work with people all over the world. If you want to be a mixing engineer or producer, you can collab with people in Australia or in Austria or in LA even, or here. There still are a lot of local musicians here. You can have that extra free time and leeway because there are so many gigs that you can work. 3, it is so easy in general to get around. Anybody that lives in LA or New York knows getting from point A to point B is a struggle. Even getting to the airport, unless you live really close to the airport in one of those cities, which many of us don't, is a pain in the ass. Like, it's a hike and a half in itself just to get through TSA, essentially. Sometimes it's almost longer than the flight. So here, pretty much anywhere you are, point A to point B, and anywhere in Vegas, it's 30 minutes max. The Strip is in the middle, and no matter where you live, usually the Strip is like 20 minutes from your house. Then the airport is also really close. I live like 10 minutes from the airport. Flights to and from Vegas can be really cheap because Vegas is a hub that everyone wants to go to. So I've flown to LA for less than $100 round trip. I've flown to New York for $150 round trip for a gig. Super easy stuff. Or if you want to go to LA, you can just drive, just a 4-hour drive, just depends on how much you like driving, but it's definitely doable. So it's really easy to get around. 4, the community is small and they're not as cliquey as they are in LA and New York. So it's a lot easier to get in. People are so much more friendly and willing to work with each other because it's such a small community. I really like that. I thought that was really nice. In New York, everyone was trying to out-riff everyone and out-harmonize everyone. And here, it's just very chill. That's, again, just my personal experience, but I feel like other people have had similar experiences. 5, there's no income tax. So you get to keep more of your money instead of giving it to the government like you have to do in in New York and LA. 6, everybody wants to come visit you. People love Las Vegas. People come here from all over the world. I've had so many friends come visit me, so people are still gonna come visit you. You're not living in the middle of nowhere. You're in a major city with pretty much every store, every shop that you can imagine, but it does have small town vibes. I love that. It's like small town vibes in a major city. Pretty much every big act comes through here. There's a big festival every year called Life is Beautiful. You could see so many people. I love that. Everybody comes through Vegas. A lot of ways to get inspired. 7, there is nature. There's beautiful nature here that is so easy to get to. And I know there is also in LA. There's obviously the ocean, and New York is New York. But here there's also cool nature spots. You can go on a hike close by. You can go to Mount Charleston close by. 2 hours you're in Utah. So there's a lot of really beautiful places. And if you're like me and you get inspired by nature, that would be great for you too. And I love that even though Vegas is a desert, right, and would just be rocks if it could, the people here have made a lot of effort to put trees and to put parks. Everywhere you are pretty much in Vegas, there's a lot of parks and bike paths and stuff like that. They've really made it a cool place for humans to live. 8, another great thing is there's such amazing food here from all over the world. Vegas is probably, even though LA and New York is very eclectic, right, there's people from all over the world, it has neighborhoods and pockets. When I was in Brooklyn, it was like you're in one pocket, that's where all the hipsters are, and then there's another pocket where there's all the Polish people are. And here I feel like it's a little bit more diverse within itself. Like my neighborhood has people of all shapes and sizes. It's not just like one type of person. Even when you go to Spring Valley, which has a lot of really great, considered like Chinatown, there's food from all different places over there too. And it is really good food and really cool things that you can do here. So it's pretty hard to be bored here also. I just think this is such a great city for musicians that not that many people talk about. I know when I was graduating from Berklee, nobody was talking about Vegas as an option, and I think it should be an option because there is a lot of ways for musicians to thrive here. So if you have any other questions, put it in the comment below. I'm not sponsored by the city of Vegas. I've just had a really great experience here. And you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that I lived in New York City for 10 years, banging down doors, never felt successful. And then the minute I move here and I'm able to really focus on my business, that's when everything takes off for me. So consider that. Also, you don't even need to live in a major city anymore to be a modern musician. I have friends that are killing it, that are living in Wisconsin, in Kansas, a place where nobody is, like in the mountains somewhere. You can live anywhere now and thrive. But if you do want to have some live gigs and feel that kind of city vibes without having to break the bank, I really think Vegas is a great option. I really hope this helps. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to post a video every Tuesday, and I'll see you next week.